This is New Frontier Craft, the story. This is the fall of old Minecraft. Now before we get into this, there is something I want to mention about what I said last video about the beta and alpha days just having this glorious community. Let's change that to just beta. After showing my cousin this Golden Days video, and then talking to a few others on the server, I hear the alpha community was not that great. It was okay, you had the mature people still there, or already there, but the morons of the servers had a lot more power. Because land and chest protection, PvP, and whitelist weren't invented yet. All you could do was ask someone who found your place to please not steal my stuff or destroy the place, because you couldn't really do anything about it. Because there's no whitelist, you needed to trust your friends not to give away the IP, or you're just gonna have a bunch of random people joining your server, and there's not much you can do about that. On both ends, the only thing you could really do was ban usernames. So yeah, all this said, I consider beta the real golden days from the community change, even though Minecraft itself in both alpha and beta was still really good and had its own unique feel. The land protection, the whitelist, the other things created that put you in a position where you had to act mature so you weren't butted off the whitelist, or so you didn't make people on the server angry at you. Because all you would do at this point the only thing you could do at this point was act like a moron. You couldn't steal other people's stuff or destroy claimed buildings unless that was allowed on the server. So let's actually dive into the fall of old Minecraft. Believe me, I've been wanting to tear up what made Minecraft fall for quite a while. But let's get to it. I can put the primary things that ruined Minecraft into two main groups. The community being ruined, and the things that surfaced starting with that beta 1.8 update we all seem to think ruined it. There's many mixed opinions on why beta 1.8 and beyond ruined the game, but we'll get into that last, as that's probably the most important thing. So a minor thing to mention to start this off. Notch's own ideas for what to add into the game was fading. I think he was starting to run out of ideas in beta 1.7.3 for what to add, so the ideas of Mojang's and the demand of the people were starting to become what drove Minecraft's development. As we all know, Notch does eventually leave the development of Minecraft. With beta 1.8 on the brink, the community was really starting to grow. If I remember correctly, we were going to have already hit 2 million accounts bought. Now that's a lot of people. The community at this time was still fairly good, but it was just beginning to dip just because it was spreading to so many people. Now another big change starting to develop at this time was the internet was transitioning from something nerds use to something everyone uses. This came about probably because consoles like the Xbox were really starting to use the internet, and smartphones were becoming a popular thing. This said, the social media accounts were exploding, and many more communication between gamers came about, which allowed Minecraft to spread like mad. So Minecraft was spreading to the gamers and the general public. Because the new console players community, Mojang decided to release Minecraft on the Xbox to get more players, starting with version beta 1.6 and eventually beta 1.7.3. And that skyrocketed because they released the Golden Age versions of Minecraft, which made it pretty awesome. The Xbox version did start off very well and spread to a lot more players, and they had a pretty good experience to start off, even though those worlds were limited. Of course, it would eventually get updated. Then there's social media, where Minecraft was spreading to the general public on the computer. Now this really wasn't good, as the general public is kind of lazy and they just want to get all they can get. This is what started to create such a louder demand for what to add in Minecraft, or even mods. This was not a good thing, as the general public doesn't normally put much thought into how adding certain things will affect the game. Keep that in mind. Another thing is the internet community in common was being saturated by more youngsters, and a stronger sense of agitation and anger was starting to grow. This sprouted a whole trolling, destruction, the surfacing of way more arguing, just spouts of rage. this community was starting to enter Minecraft. So let's begin on that update we're all so hyped for. And ended up, as we all claim, wrecking that old Minecraft feeling. But why? Did it really ruin Minecraft? Yes, it did. The update itself is not the only reason, but it was the main contributor for what would eventually grow into what we call modern Minecraft. So, Beta 1.8, the adventure update. Suddenly we were seeing the things we've wanted for so long. Adventure, randomly generating structures in the ground, speed and running, hunger, new looks, creative mode? Sure, it looks awesome. No, not awesome. Some of these things were the big reason that old Minecraft fell, and what we felt would eventually die. Now note, I'm not going to be talking specifically Beta 1.8, but most of these things started in Beta 1.8, hence why we all subconsciously draw back the line to Beta 1.8 ruining the game. Let us begin with the new looks and sound. Now I love the old sounds, the new ones I just don't care for. I love the old textures and look, but I really hate the new ones. The old sounds just made it sound like an older game, as in sort of retro-ish. But the old textures and lighting is what gave Minecraft that unique beauty, even a sense of character to the game. But now that's all been washed out with the new, in my opinion, really gross looking textures. The lighting I don't care for, it replaces the beauty with trying to make it look grimmer, I guess. It looked cool for a little while, but then over time it sort of made things grosser to look at, including my own house I built in my original survival world called the Ark of Time. But the new textures, man, it's like a bunch of people at Mojang or Jeb or whoever took a picture of beta and was like, let's take a ton of contrasts and add a layer of yellow-orange and wow, that looks way better! I mean, you don't change how a game looks if it's doing really well as it is right now. Imagine if someone replaced all the lights in your house with a yellow-orange tinted lights and made all the colors in your house duller. Probably wouldn't look too good, but that's what Mojang did. In fact, the new color scheme would really separate modern Minecraft from beta or alpha Minecraft because it has much different looks. Now you might say that's the same for the differences between beta and alpha, and yes, they did have unique looks, but they both looked good in their own ways. Modern Minecraft does not look that good. Okay, you've heard enough about the changes in looks. Let's move on to this whole adventure idea. Now you see, this was a good idea, but it really wasn't done right, to the point that it became the contributor to ruining old Minecraft. First of all, the pace of Minecraft started to get faster and continuously got faster after Beta 1.8.1. The adventure they tried to add was more through action, which resulted in sprinting abilities, hunger constantly keeping you needing to get food. The hunger itself had its own strengths and weaknesses, but the whole faster pace really started to make us hungry for more and more. You see, Minecraft was supposed to be at the speed it was so then you could take in the atmosphere and feel good about what you created. Along with this gave use to minecarts so you could improve your transportation speed while working at a fair amount to create some crazy rail system or basic one, whichever you wanted to do. But now you could just eat and run. Minecarts were not really used for a while. I mention this because minecarts were a big and unique thing in Minecraft. Recently they've added more uses to minecarts, but they normally don't rely off minecarts for fast transportation when you can just sprint or use potions to sprint faster. Maybe they made minecarts faster, but that just goes to show the idea for this hunger. Faster, bigger, badder. But this new hunger for adventure ended up just wanting more and more to be added. More action, more abilities. The adventures in Minecraft were presented as experiencing crazy or intense fighting. That alone is not old Minecraft. It was not about fighting. The adventure was about exploring the unknown. Fighting mobs and players might have been a piece of Minecraft, but was not its focus. Another thing that really worked Minecraft was the growing difference between if something was realistic or fictional. What I mean by this was it was originally an equal balance of fairly realistic things and fairly imaginative or unrealistic stuff in the game, which added a lot to its uniqueness and atmosphere. Now the stuff they eventually started to add really overshot being unique and messed with the atmosphere. Let me give you an example. What if you went back in time when beta was just released and told a person he was eventually going to have dyes and colored wool and squids added? He'd probably be like, that sounds kind of interesting. But then what if you told him that you're eventually going to fight a dragon to beat the game? Okay, first of all, Minecraft isn't a game you're supposed to beat. Second of all, he'd be like, what? Sure, that sounds cool, but it doesn't sound like old Minecraft. Now this is an example of something very fictional that was added, but how about the other way around? The swamp biome. Sure, it's realistic, but man, it just looks like trash, like it would in real life. There's some other stuff I could mention, like this whole thing with pretty much magic, bosses, strange mobs like Endermen, and potions, while realistic and much more boring terrain generation with some fairly realistic processes to get things. So, what about terrain generation in Modern? Now there's actually something quite interesting I want to mention here. Throughout this whole time, there is one thing Modern Minecraft did right. One thing! And that is the generation diversity of the biomes. Recently, they've added a lot more biomes to Minecraft, and it does fit the old way of Minecraft, which is fairly realistic with a layer of imagination. What you might say is that more biomes being added is just inevitable because it's Minecraft. But I think it is, but I think they actually had some good ideas here with the biomes they added, and biomes weren't developed much in beta. The thing that draws back from modern Minecraft's new biomes is the new looks of Minecraft and not having a unique generator. Yet again, they've made the terrain generator a bit better recently, but in beta 1.8 to mid-full releases, the terrain generator really stank. There were really big repetitive biomes with little to admire. Interestingly enough, this thing with big biomes was suggested by the communities to make you feel lost. But then once you get lost, it just kinda stank. And yet again, they overshot the unrealistic when they added in the amplified terrain generator. The next in line is villagers. What could be so bad about these quirky little looking fellows? In my opinion, and this is not a part of ruining old Minecraft, I think they looked really strange. Like the Squidward-like approach with a brownish tan skin and a huge head. I think this looks really weird, mostly for Minecraft. Anyways, there's a bigger piece they had with messing with old Minecraft, and that was in single player. The thing about single player was that you were supposed to feel alone against a big, mysterious, and occasionally dark world of mobs, and it's an infinite world. But now that feeling of being alone is pretty much removed with seeing villagers nearby that you could trade with. Another thing to mention is the new feeling Minecraft gives. I said mysterious and occasionally dark world for old Minecraft for a reason. For some reason, I think many small things that have been added together, Minecraft has taken a much darker approach. There's something more about fighting, the new mobs, bats, and bosses, and grayer looks, and the lighting makes it look like we're in the Dark Ages, the more violent community, and just the beauty of old Minecraft was pretty much removed. So finally, let's get to the biggest thing. Not because it's way more important, but because so many people overlook this or just never thought of this, and it's one of the biggest contributors to the fall of Minecraft. So I'll be emphasizing this a lot, and it's not just because it's important, but because so many people don't know this. So many people come to the conclusion that the RPG feel, or the emphasis on fighting, was the thing that ruined Minecraft. Others say the community, but I almost never hear this. So here it is. The biggest thing that ruined Minecraft is creative mode! So you might be saying, why is that the thing that ruined and hurt old Minecraft? Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine back in the day, on you being on your big single player world, in your survival world, you've got this big project. We'll say an expensive looking hotel with iron blocks and even gold and diamond blocks here and there. You've been working on this thing for a long time, and it's only halfway built, but it already looks pretty awesome. You've built multiple rail systems, mines, homes, exploration outposts, just to scavenge the terrain and caves and all the items you need to build this thing. The process, you've built multiple farms and machines and weird little unique creations just to keep it interesting. But then beta 1.8 comes around, and now suddenly you have creative mode. Suddenly you have the power to build anything like this. And within 10 minutes, you build your hotel. The whole adventure of making this thing just went down the drain in a few minutes. Now, because of creative mode, you can create everything you've always wanted to build in an hour. So that alone did two things. It burned out all of the things we were imagining or planning to build in Minecraft one day in a short time. The other thing it did was basically kill survival. If you've already built everything you want to do in creative mode, what's the point of building in survival anymore? This burned the tar out of you wanting to do survival. There's no point to survival anymore. It's stay in creative mode. This burned your work ethic at an insane level. Another thing creative mode added was flight, and this also ruined something else. Now that you had the ability to just fly across the terrain generator at a high speed without needing any other minecart or anything you had to build, along with being able to dig instantly in the ground, you could just explore all the terrain Minecraft had to offer. Now, this did not happen in a few minutes like the other things creative mode did, but over time of flying over Minecraft terrain in creative mode and eventually digging through all the caves, and this did two things also. It burned out all the possible biomes and terrain Minecraft had to offer, or new things they put into the terrain that generated you would find pretty much instantly in an update. Which the new terrain generator sort of had a downfall too at this time, and it started to make Minecraft terrain seem a lot more boring. The other thing flying did was made Minecraft seem a lot smaller. Sure, Minecraft was still infinite, but now it was all these big and crazy occasional terrain generations you would see seemed much smaller, as you could just fly to the top in seconds or fly way above it in seconds. Minecraft was no longer a big, mysterious, endless world you survived in. It was now a much smaller and less appealing, endless world. That said, this created this new hunger for things. Not hunger in game, because instead of taking a while to find something added into Minecraft in your survival world, now you had it instantly in your hands with creative mode. Adding things like dyes and cool little things was no longer that interesting. Now this is where things actually start to make sense and come together if you put creative mode as the focus for ruining Minecraft. Because now just adding in this regular stuff like they did back in the day didn't really entertain us for long, with using the new stuff in creative mode and just exhausting all that it could do. So in order to keep the game interesting, what would Mojang have to do? Go to much larger scales with adding new stuff. And from this sprouted the more extremes of stuff added, like more magical stuff, the big bosses, the strange mobs, the very rare strongholds, many more biomes, the amplified terrain generator, etc. And from that, all the things that would eventually end up ruining Minecraft were added in. So there you have it. Maybe some of the things I spoke of didn't affect you as much, and I expect that because we were all different. But maybe some of the things I spoke of really affected your experience in that death of the old feeling or old spirit of whatever you want to call it. I hope I have given you the general pieces that ruined the experience of Minecraft for you. Now you can piece it together yourself according to your own experience. But that's it. That is the fall of old Minecraft as we knew it. Man, have I been wanting to spill that out for a while. If you agree with this, share it with your friends. Be a part of the community. We are going to bring back the old days. But that's it. That is the fall of old Minecraft as we knew it. Man, have I been wanting to spill this out for a while. If you agree with this, please share this with your friends. Be a part of the community. Our mission is to bring back old Minecraft, and I have the answer to bringing back old Minecraft, and I'm going to do it through my mod called New Frontier Craft. If you want these old days back, please share it with your friends, subscribe, go on the server, I don't know. But I hope to see you in the next video. The nostalgia begins. Okay, after recording, there was a couple things I forgot to mention, and I decided to also add. And I also found my hat. But anyways, why did I mention console gamers? Because I actually didn't talk too much about that. Pretty much because console gamers are a lot more violent than just regular computer gamers. That's kind of debatable, but I mean, back in the day, and still is today, console gamers everything's about a gun. It's just a gun. Everything revolves around a gun. It doesn't matter what it is, unless it's Nintendo. It's all about a gun. It doesn't matter if you're playing Call of Field or Battle Duty. It's a gun. So that entered Minecraft and created a lot more violence. I mean, I could create an example for you right now. This picture right here, this plus this equals this. Alright, makes sense? See, that's what happens. I mean, I could also go on the App Store and find a bunch of Minecraft source code edited so that you have a gun. It's just about a gun. That's all people want to do, is to have a gun. Anyways, another thing I wanted to mention was, I was talking a lot about creative mode, but then, you know, there's the people who added in, back in the day, things like too many items or a flying mod, and you'd be like, well, why didn't that affect me? First of all, did it actually affect you? Did you really want to go to survival after being able to just build anything out of thin air and flying? Because maybe it did mess with you earlier, but if it didn't, here's my idea for why that didn't. That's because you know you installed a mod. You know it wasn't vanilla Minecraft, and vanilla Minecraft was separate in your mind. But when they added creative mode, it was like a part of the Minecraft experience. So it kind of melded together with survival, and then creative mode seemed way more fun, so then survival was just kind of junked. So, if you wondered about that and why I didn't say anything about that, there you go. Anyways, I hope to see you in the next video. The nostalgia begins.
Oh, excuse me, Zowja. Can I have your autograph? Zowja. Zowja.
Sure.
Zowja. Zowja. Zowja.
Ah! You dipped me!